What if your own blood betrayed you? What if the people meant to protect you became the ones who destroyed your life? Imagine a child, innocent, trusting, loved deeply by his father. Now imagine that same child, beaten, dragged into the wilderness, and thrown alive into a dark, bottomless well, not from strangers, but from his own brothers. No witnesses, no mercy, no way out. Yet somehow, this abandoned child would rise to become one of the most powerful men in history. This is not a legend. This is not fiction. This is the real story of Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him. A story of jealousy, patience, loss, faith, and divine justice. And it begins not with power, but with a dream. If you're fascinated by real stories of history, mystery, and incredible human journeys, then you found the right place. Hit that subscribe button now and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that will leave you speechless. Yusuf was still a child when destiny whispered to him for the very first time. One night, as the world slept, Yusuf saw something that shook his young heart. He saw the sun. He saw the moon. He saw 11 stars, and all of them were bowing to him. Confused and overwhelmed, Yusuf did what any innocent child would do. He ran to the one person he trusted most, his father. Prophet Yaqub listened carefully as Yusuf described the dream. He did not interrupt. He did not dismiss it. He did not smile. Instead, his expression changed. Yaqub was not just a father, he was a prophet. And he knew immediately that this dream carried divine meaning. This was not a child's imagination. This was a sign that Allah had chosen Yusuf for something extraordinary. But greatness attracts enemies, even within one's own home. With deep concern, Yaqub gently warned his son, "My beloved child, do not share this dream with your brothers. They may plot against you. Satan is a clear enemy to mankind." Yusuf nodded, unaware that the storm had already begun. Yusuf was not like the other children. He had lost his mother at a very young age. Perhaps that loss made Yaqub love him more openly, more protectively. Yusuf also had a younger brother, Binyamin, his only full brother, and Yaqub cherished both of them deeply. But the older brothers noticed. They noticed the affection. They noticed the attention. They noticed the softness in their father's eyes when Yusuf entered the room, and jealousy began to grow. At first it was silent. Then it became bitterness. Then resentment. They whispered among themselves, "Why does our father love Yusuf and his brother more than us? We are stronger. We are older. We are many." Jealousy blinded them. They forgot that love is not a competition. What starts as envy can easily turn into something far more dangerous. The brothers gathered, away from their father's eyes, and spoke words that should never be spoken about one's own flesh and blood. Get rid of Yusuf. Some suggested murder. Others hesitated. Finally, one voice proposed something even crueler. "Do not kill him. Throw him into a deep well. A passing caravan will take him away. He will disappear from our lives forever." And so, the decision was made. They would remove Yusuf and then pretend it never happened. The next morning, they approached their father. Their voices were soft. Their smiles were convincing. "Why don't you trust us with Yusuf?" they asked. "We only want him to play and enjoy. We promise to protect him." Yaqub's heart tightened. Something felt wrong. "I fear that you may neglect him," Yaqub replied, "and that a wolf might harm him." The brothers quickly dismissed his fear. If a wolf can harm him while we are around, then we are truly worthless. Against his instincts, against his fear, Yaqub allowed Yusuf to go. It would be a decision that would haunt him for decades. Yusuf walked beside his brothers, unaware of what awaited him. He trusted them. Why wouldn't he? They were his family. But trust, once broken, leaves scars that last a lifetime. As they reached a remote place, far from any village, their tone changed. Hands that once guided him now pushed him. Voices that once spoke kindly now shouted. Yusuf cried. He begged. He asked what he had done wrong. No answer came. And then they threw him into the well. The fall was terrifying. Yusuf landed on a rock inside the well. Darkness surrounded him. Above him were faces that refused to look back. His brothers walked away. Silence followed. A child, abandoned, injured, confused, sat alone in the darkness. But Allah was with him. In that moment, Allah revealed comfort to Yusuf's heart. This moment does not define your end. Yusuf did not know how, did not know when, but he believed. Meanwhile, the brothers returned home, crying fake tears. They carried Yusuf's shirt, stained with false blood. "Our brother was eaten by a wolf," they said. Yaqub looked at the shirt. No tears, no scratches, no damage. His heart knew the truth, but he chose patience. "A beautiful patience," he whispered. "And Allah is the one whose help is sought." This was only the beginning. Darkness has a strange way of changing a person. Inside that deep, silent well, Yusuf sat alone, not knowing how long he had been there. Minutes felt like hours. Hours felt like eternity. Every sound echoed. Every breath reminded him that he was still alive. He replayed everything in his mind. His father's voice, his brothers' faces, their hands pushing him away. Why? He had no answer. But one thing was clear. Yusuf was no longer a child living under protection. From this moment on, survival would require faith. Time passed. Then, suddenly, a sound. Not footsteps, not voices. A rope. A bucket slowly descending into the well. Yusuf froze. Was this another trick? Or was this help? Instinct took over. With trembling hands, Yusuf grabbed onto the bucket. Above ground, the men pulling the rope felt resistance. They pulled harder. And then, a miracle rose from the darkness. A boy. Alive. Beautiful. Silent. The men stared in shock. This was not water. This was Prophet. In that era, slavery was common. Human lives were traded like goods. The men exchanged glances. "This boy could be valuable," one of them said. No one asked Yusuf his name. No one asked where he came from. No one asked what had happened to him. They only saw opportunity. They hid him like secret treasure, afraid someone would claim him, and took him with them towards Egypt. As the caravan moved forward, Yusuf looked back one last time, not knowing if he would ever see his homeland again. The land of his father disappeared behind him. So did his childhood. Egypt was loud, crowded, busy, unforgiving. The slave market was filled with voices shouting prices, buyers examining bodies, and sellers advertising strength and youth. Yusuf stood there, quiet, clean, dignified, despite being treated like property. Men circled him. They inspected him. They negotiated his worth. A human soul reduced to a number. And then he was sold, for a surprisingly low price. Coins exchanged hands, ownership transferred. Just like that. The buyer was no ordinary man. He was the Aziz of Egypt, a powerful minister. When he brought Yusuf home, something felt different. This was not cruelty. This was not harshness. The Aziz spoke to his wife Zuleika with intention. Treat this boy with honor. Perhaps he will benefit us, or perhaps we will adopt him as our own. For the first time since the well, Yusuf was treated with dignity. But dignity is not freedom. Yusuf lived in a palace, surrounded by luxury, yet owned by another man. He had food, shelter, clothes, but his destiny was still unfolding. Years passed. Yusuf grew, not just in age, but in character. He was honest, hardworking, silent when insulted, grateful when blessed. The palace staff noticed, so did Allah. Yusuf was granted wisdom, patience, and understanding beyond his years. But with maturity came another test, one far more dangerous than a well: beauty. As Yusuf reached manhood, his appearance changed. His beauty became legendary, not ordinary beauty, but something rare, unsettling, overwhelming. It was said that Allah divided beauty into two halves. One half was given to the entire world, and the other half was given to Yusuf alone. Eyes followed him wherever he walked, whispers followed, and desire began to grow in places it should never have existed, including within the palace itself. Zuleika, the wife of the Aziz, noticed Yusuf. At first it was admiration, then fascination, then obsession. She had everything: wealth, status, power, but she wanted what she could not have: Yusuf. She began testing him, words here, gestures there. Yusuf resisted, not loudly, not arrogantly, but firmly. Until one night, she made her move. One evening, the palace was quiet. The doors were locked, one after another. Zuleika stood before Yusuf. "I have prepared everything for you," she said. The moment was heavy. Temptation stood inches away. But Yusuf stepped back. "I seek refuge in God," he said. "My master has treated me well. I cannot betray him. Wrongdoers never succeed." Yusuf turned to leave. Zuleika chased him. Hands grabbed fabric. The shirt tore. At that exact moment, the door opened. The Aziz stood frozen. Zuleika spoke first, twisting the story. "He tried to harm me," she accused. Yusuf remained calm. He spoke the truth. A wise voice from the family suggested a test. If his shirt is torn from the front, she speaks the truth. If it is torn from the back, he is innocent. The Aziz looked. The shirt was torn from behind. Truth stood exposed. Shame filled the room. But instead of justice, silence followed. The incident was buried. At least, they tried. News spreads fast, especially in palaces. The women of the city whispered, "The minister's wife desires her servant." Mockery followed. Ridicule grew. Zuleika felt cornered, so she decided to prove her point. She invited the women of the city, prepared fruit, handed them knives, then called Yusuf into the room. When they saw him, time stopped. They stared, they gasped, they cut their hands, and felt nothing. "This is no man," they said. "This is an angel." Zuleika stood tall. "Now you understand," she said. But admiration quickly turned into danger. Desire multiplied, and Yusuf realized this palace was no longer safe. Surrounded by temptation, Yusuf did the unthinkable. He prayed, "My Lord,
Prison is more beloved to me than what they invite me to." And Allah listened. The decision was weighed. To protect reputation, to silence scandal, Yusuf was imprisoned, innocent, alone, once again. Prison was quiet, cold, lonely. Yusuf had traded one darkness for another. This time, it wasn't a well, but stone walls that smelled of despair. He could hear the distant sound of other prisoners, their whispers, their sighs, their regrets. But Yusuf did not despair. He had faith. Faith is a light that even prison walls cannot block. Among the prisoners were two men. One was a baker, the other a cupbearer of the king. Both had dreams that haunted them night after night. One of bread falling from his head and birds eating it. The other wine pouring endlessly, his future decided by fate. Yusuf noticed them. He did not ignore their suffering. Instead, he approached. "Tell me your dreams," he said. "Perhaps Allah will guide us." They were hesitant. Prisoners do not usually trust strangers. But something in Yusuf's eyes, calm, patient, confident, made them speak. Yusuf listened carefully. He paused. He only spoke when the meaning was clear in his heart. To the cupbearer, "Your dream is good. In a few days, you will return to your position. Do not forget me when your honor is restored." To the baker, "Your dream is ominous. You will be executed, and birds will feast on your head." The prisoners were shocked. Yusuf had spoken truth. 3 days later, it happened exactly as Yusuf had interpreted. The cupbearer was freed, the baker was executed. Yusuf's fame in the prison grew silently. His words carried weight even when he was behind bars. Time in prison stretched long. Days blended into months, months into years. But Yusuf remained patient. He did not complain. He did not cry. He did not falter. He prayed. He read the signs of Allah in the stars, in the quiet, in the hearts of men around him. Even in chains, even in confinement, Yusuf's spirit remained free. Years passed. Then one day a messenger arrived at the prison. It was the cupbearer, the one Yusuf had interpreted the dream for. He was no longer a servant. He had returned to the king's court. He had power. He had respect. And he remembered Yusuf. "Tell the king," Yusuf said quietly, "about a dream that only I can interpret." The cupbearer nodded, but Yusuf knew only Allah controls the moment. The king of Egypt had been troubled. Night after night, he saw the same vision. 7 fat cows eaten by 7 lean cows. 7 healthy ears of corn devoured by 7 withered ones. The dream left him restless. None of his advisors or priests could explain it. Panic spread in the court. And then the cupbearer remembered Yusuf. He requested the king, "There is a young man in prison, gifted by Allah. He can interpret dreams like no other." When Yusuf was brought before the king, the court was silent. Everyone stared at him. The same beauty that had unsettled Zulaykha years ago, the same wisdom that had comforted prisoners, was now standing in front of the ruler of Egypt. The king spoke, "I have dreams I cannot understand. Can you tell me their meaning?" Yusuf nodded. "I do not know the unseen, but Allah will reveal it to me. Share your dream." Yusuf listened carefully. He paused. Then he spoke, only when the meaning was clear in his heart. The 7 fat cows represent 7 years of abundance. The 7 lean cows represent 7 years of famine. The same applies to the 7 healthy ears of corn and the 7 dry ones. Store grain during the years of plenty, so that the people will have sustenance during the years of famine. The court was stunned. The king looked at Yusuf, then nodded in approval. "This is wisdom," he said. "You shall manage the land and all its stores. Your plan will save Egypt." Yusuf had risen from a pit to a prison to the highest honor. His faith and patience had paved the way. Yusuf was no longer a boy sold in a market. He was the overseer of Egypt's grain, responsible for the lives of millions. He organized the storage, he supervised the farmers, he ensured that no grain was wasted, no famine could destroy the people. All of Egypt prospered. Even the regions around Egypt felt the effect. Foreign lands came to trade, to buy grain, to survive. Yusuf had turned tragedy into triumph. Meanwhile, far away in Canaan, Yusuf's family suffered. The famine reached his father and brothers. They did not know that Yusuf was alive. Desperate for food, they traveled to Egypt. Yusuf recognized them immediately. They did not recognize him. Here was a moment of justice, a chance to confront the ones who had thrown him into a well. But Yusuf did not act in anger. Instead, he tested them, learning whether they had changed and whether they had become worthy of forgiveness. Yusuf hid his identity. He accused them falsely. He set traps. He observed their behavior carefully. And finally, he spoke to Benjamin, his full brother, the one who had shared his mother's love. He arranged for a silver cup to be stolen from their belongings. This created panic and fear, and yet the truth was revealed. The brothers showed care, honesty, and love. Yusuf's heart softened. After the test, Yusuf revealed himself. He did not seek revenge. He did not punish. Instead, he forgave them. He embraced his brothers. He cried with them. He cried.